So we just received some brand new voter registration numbers, and it is looking good for the Republican Party and President Trump. And I know voter registration isn't everything, it can be misleading, but it is a very good metric, as in 2024, voter registration indicated there was a Republican surge across the entire country, not just in one state. No, places like New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. These states had huge surges in Republican affiliation, and look at what happened. Trump surged in all these states, places like New Mexico, even places like Arizona, Nevada, the same thing happened everywhere. And we're getting new updates, and despite what Democrats were claiming, they were all claiming, oh, Trump is hated by everyone, he has a 21% approval rating, half of his voters hate his guts now. That's what Democrats were really pushing. They were pushing this idea that, oh, all these Trump voters, they all hate his guts now, no one likes him, and in fact, 2026 and 2028 are going to be blue waves. Now, the approval rating for Trump has gone down. Basically, every pollster has found that, yeah, it's gone down by a couple points here and there, maybe by like 5 or 6 points, but not by 50 points like some people are claiming. And now we are getting brand new voter registration numbers for the month of April. You know, right in the middle of the trade war, with all the deportation stuff happening, this is when we should see some kind of surge for the Democrat Party. And in fact, we're not seeing any surge. Actually, no, there is a surge, but for the Republican Party. Yeah, the Republican Party, yet again, is experiencing a surge across basically every single state. All right, now again, we don't got every state right now. We got a good chunk of them, but the ones we do got, well, all of them are horrible for Dems. Every single state, right now, there's some states like Pennsylvania that we haven't got updates on, but the ones we do got updates, it is looking awful for the Democrat Party. Just look at this. This is Oklahoma. I know a very Republican state, but in the month of April, Republicans gained 5,300 voters. Democrats lost 200. I know this is a very Republican state, right? But guys, if there was this magical collapse in Republican support, we should be seeing some kind of sign anywhere. Just some kind of indicator that, oh yeah, the Democrat Party, they're surging, but Republicans are going down. And in fact, since 2024, Republicans have gained roughly 2,000 voters. Democrats in Oklahoma have lost 40,000. And the trend is accelerating. People are becoming Republicans, which, listen, voter registration, like I said, isn't everything. But if there was this magical collapse, shouldn't we be seeing this somewhere? And okay, it's a Republican state, it's a Trump plus 34 state, maybe it's a fluke. Well, okay, let's look at Iowa, which everyone has been claiming, oh, Iowa hates Trump now because the trade war stuff, it's impacting voters in Iowa the most because that's their economy, which that's a legitimate concern, that maybe the tariffs, they hurt Trump in a place like Iowa. Nope. The updates in April are still good for the GOP. Look at this. Republicans right now gained 5,200 voters in the month of April. Democrats only gained 3,000. And yet again, another state where since 2024, Republicans have expanded their lead by like 23,000 votes. Yeah, this is Iowa, which again, this is a state that if there was a magical collapse for Trump, we should be seeing it here. Because the trade war stuff could absolutely hurt Trump in a state like Iowa, which was the theory that, oh, all these voters in Iowa, they hate Trump now because he's deporting all the illegals, he is, starting a trade war with China, which theoretically, it should hurt him in a place like Iowa. But it's not. Yet again, another state. And let's just keep going. Florida. Republicans lost some voters because of cleanup stuff, but even then, compare that to Democrats, who lost 57,000 voters in the month of April. So these are 3 states which I know they're very Republican states, especially Oklahoma, but if Trump was having a big problem with his base and people were hating the GOP, shouldn't we see this somewhere? Shouldn't we see some kind of trend anywhere that, oh, there's trouble with Trump in a state like Iowa, Florida, Oklahoma, these very Republican states? If there was some actual issues, we should be seeing it right now. But we're not. But okay, Democrats are going to claim that, well, a state like Florida is a Trump plus 13 state. Same thing with Iowa, Oklahoma, even more Republican. These areas are super conservative, super Republican, and these trends have been going on for many years, okay? Maybe it's not being felt in a place like Florida because it is such a Republican state now that you can't really compare it. Okay, that might be a legitimate concern or criticism of this idea. Here's a problem. It's not just Republican states like Oklahoma, Iowa, Florida. It's not just these states. No, we're getting voter registration numbers out of Colorado, okay? Colorado has been getting more and more Democrat in recent years. That's a fact. Before 2024, everyone agreed that it was a safe Democrat state, that it was going to be a Democrat state forever now because, well, all the people from California and even the Democrats from Texas, they're moving there. The liberals of a place like Texas, California, Oregon, even places like Georgia, they're moving out of these states and they're moving to Colorado. That's why it's become a more Democrat state. There's other reasons as well, but the point is, this is a state that Trump vastly overperformed expectations in 2024. So you would think, okay, if Trump is having this magical collapse in support and the GOP is dying and the Democrat Party is surging, shouldn't we see a surge in Colorado? This is like ground zero for the new Democrat Party. It is. Yet right now, there is no surge. And since 2024, Republicans have gotten the Democrat advantage down to below 100,000 voters. For the first time since, I think, early 2020, the Democrat Party has a voter registration advantage below 100,000 voters. That's bad. That is awful because this is Colorado. This is the new Democrat coalition. This is a state that should be getting more and more Democrat, especially with all the trade war stuff. Oh, everyone hates Trump. But they're having problems in Colorado. But let's keep going because people might say, oh, it's only one Democrat state. Let's look at New Mexico, a state that in 2024 was closer. Harris won it by 6 points, but it was kind of a surprise how close it really was. Well, the new numbers indicate yet another state that Republicans are gaining in. Look at this. In the month of April, they gained 500 new voters. Democrats lost 240. Since 2024, the Democrat advantage has swung 20,000 votes away from the Democrat Party. Does this sound like good news? They're struggling in Colorado, New Mexico, Florida, Iowa. Basically, every single state is becoming an utter disaster for the Democrat Party. Does this look like Trump is collapsing its support? His approval might be going down. I'm not denying that. I think his approval has gone down like 5 points maybe. But it's not going down by 50 points. And even then, even if it's below water by 15 points, compare that to the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party right now is hated. And that's the one aspect that not enough people are talking about. The Democrat Party right now, their numbers suck. It's below water by like 50 points. I mean, some polls have them in the low 40s. Or not even low 40s, low 20s. The low 40s is where the GOP is at right now, that's not good. But the Democrat Party right now, they're like 21% approval, 22% approval. That's it. And that's the biggest problem for the Democrat Party. People may not like Trump right now, or the GOP. They may think, okay, Trump is going too far with the tariffs. The GOP still sucks. But the Democrat Party is hated. No one likes the Democrat Party. Even in places like New Mexico, Colorado, not in deep red areas. But you know what? Let's keep going. New Jersey. This is a state that by far was the biggest surprise in 2024. Trump lost the state by below 6 points. I mean, this is a state that no one thought was going to be close. Some people thought, oh, it might be within 10 points, but Trump lost the state by less than 6 points. which was a big shock to everyone. And a bunch of people thought that, hey, maybe this is the beginning of something brewing in New Jersey. Well, we have brand new voter registration out in New Jersey. And just like every other state we talked about today, it's an utter disaster for the Democrat Party. Look at this. Republicans gained 2,317 votes. Democrats gained only 500. So the Republican Party outgained Democrats by roughly 1,800 votes, which that's a big deal for a bunch of reasons. I mean, this is New Jersey. This has been a Democrat state for decades. And if there was this magical surge of Trump voters that regret their vote, shouldn't you be seeing this in New Jersey? This might be the best. This should be the state where we see all these Trump voters that regret their votes in, because it's New Jersey. It's a state that swung like 10, 15 points compared to 2020. It's a state that has a lot of Democrats that have voted for Trump. Yet right now, we're not seeing any kind of collapse. And in fact, the trends are getting even better. The trends for the GOP has accelerated. In November of 2024, Democrats led voter registration in the state by 905,000 votes. Right now, it's not even 828,000. That's a swing of what? 80,000 voters in 6 months? Yeah, a swing of roughly 80,000 voters towards the GOP in just 6 months. All right, and let's say the trend continues. Let's say every 6 months, the Republicans have a net gain of roughly 80,000 voters, which again, some of this is due to, the voter rolls being cleaned up, people dying and stuff. I get that, but let's just say all these new voters and stuff, they're all voting Republican, which that's not a guarantee, but let's just say they are. Well, if that's the case, and every 6 months, the GOP keeps gaining like 80,000 new voters, which I'm not saying that's going to continue. I mean, a lot of this was because they cleaned up the voter rolls. I get that. But if the trend continues, there's a non-zero chance that come 2028, J.D. Vance or whoever the Republican nominee is for president could actually win New Jersey. That's why it's a big deal. I mean, that sounds crazy, I know, but look at the math. Every 6 months, they keep gaining 80,000 new Republicans, or a net gain, I should say. If they keep that up for the next couple of years, well, Trump lost the state by only, what, 252,000 votes? Do the math on that one. Again, it's not a guarantee it happens every 6 months. I'm not saying that. But if voter registration is even half of that, if it's only 40,000, that could still be more than enough to potentially flip New Jersey. Which, again, I am not saying that as a final prediction. We are many years out for 2028. A lot could happen, but that's why voter registration is important. And for those that are saying, oh, it doesn't mean much, voter registration isn't everything. Yeah, you're right. It's not everything. There's a lot of other factors for elections. I get that. But the difference is, in 2024, look at all the swing states. Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Nevada, Arizona. These states, they have voter registration by party. And every single one of the swing states, they had a dramatic surge in Republican support. Hell, states like New Jersey, same thing happened there. Places like New Mexico, all these states had a magical surge in Republican support, and Trump did good everywhere. So we gotta see what happens the next couple of years, but if you're the Democrat Party, you gotta be freaking out. I mean, if this is your best case scenario, Trump is supposedly collapsing, and the best he can do is lose support everywhere, including places like Colorado, you're in deep trouble. That is awful for the Democrat Party. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.